Hello, good evening mga kababayan. I know right now, inintay nyo si Mother Mulan, but wala siya right now. She is sick, so I'm taking over. And we have a good show today and abangan nyo to. And maraming salamat sa pagpapanood and pagiging loyal sa ICP Manila and sa mga shows namin. Hatid namin ay kumbaga mga edukasyon tungkol sa ICP and sa Web3 and blockchain. And since wala si Modern Mulan, ngayong gabi, meron tayong special co-host din actually, natutulong sa atin. Siya din ay Filipino of course, pero based siya sa California. And but before that, of course, I want to acknowledge ating community actually. Hold on. Salim Family Club, still waiting. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Medyo na-late tayo ng konti, but start na tayo actually right now. Dandan, hello. Of course, I'm very loyal natin, a fan and enthusiast ng ICP Manila. Crypto Girl, dapat nandito ka. Yeah, thank you for hi everyone. And may sakit siya ngayon, so hindi siya makapagsalita. But makapagbigay siya ng mga komento niya actually sa chat natin. So masasagot pa rin niya yung mga katanungan natin. Okay, RA, hi. Okay, actually dumadami na yung mga comments natin from the chat. Thank you very much. Jason Castillo, hi. Bell's Diary, hello. Yep, Savior City, Win, hi. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce first our tutulong sa atin na isang Filipino na nasa California. Let me call in Gamris. Gamris, go ahead. Introduce yourself sa ICP Manila community.
Hello mga kabayan, I'm Gamris. So I met si Sir Ape sa pag-uwi ko ng Manila. Tapos nagkita-kita kami doon and invite niya ako. Sabi niya, mag-usap-usap tayo at magpakita ka dito sa podcast minsan. Medyo maaga kasi dito eh. Right now, it's actually mga 3 o'clock na umaga. Kaya even though medyo difficult yung time, kasi malakas si Sir Ape. Kaya dito tayo. And so I've been
Anong inaabangan mo ngayong episode na to?
Ngayon, kasi marami sa mga na-invite natin ngayon. Medyo sila yung mga mahilig din mag-introduce ng mga ibang tao na hindi familiar sa ICP. Kaya maganda tong episode na to kasi parang isang malaking network. Malalaman mo itong si William na mi-meet mo sa Twitter space o kaya yung The Swap, si Kyle.
Exactly.
Makikita mo at biglang malalaman mo na konektado pala si ganito kay ganyan. Ang layo na ng reach nyo. Minsan hindi ka pa nga nakikita in person.
Yeah, and yung isang guest natin si Javier, yung podcast niya na Let's Talk ICP. Gaining traction din right now. A lot of influential mga guests niya, recorded. And meron na rin siyang YouTube video. Alamin natin yan mamaya. And of course, si Crypto Girl, hindi lang siya, may sakit lang siya ngayon. So, hindi siya makapagsalita. Ayun nga, pero reply naman siya in chat. So, Gamris, any additional before we call in our guest? In Filipino?
Oo naman. Wala naman, it's just welcome mga kabayan. At marami talagang naipapakita ang ICP dahan-dahan. So ngayon, unti-unti natin nalalaman kung hindi lang kung ano ang kayang gawin ng ICP, pero kung sino ang mga tao dito, who's who, kung sino yung mga magandang sundan, mga magandang sabayan, at karamihan sa mga to mahilig gumawa ng mga discussions o kaya mga online na Twitter spaces. So talagang magandang i-follow ang mga tao dito kasi meron kayong matututunan at may dadagdag. So,
Alam mo, magandang punto 'yon, Gambris, kasi nga, gusto nila malaman yung ICP, fina-follow na nila yung foundation, pero gusto rin nila malaman kung ano ba yung istorya ng mga tao na fina-follow nila. Kung sino ba yung kailangan din nila i-follow within the IC community. Ito yung episode na 'to, eh. Kasi before, lahat ng episodes natin is about the projects, which is a good thing, definitely. Pero right now, we'll be joined by the kumbaga top names ng community development ng IC. Okay, without further ado, let's call in our guest. Hold on. Javier, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thank you.
Okay, so our guest right now, hold on, let me check if everybody's in. Okay, our guest right now is Javier, the Swap, Kyle, and William of Fast Blocks. Okay,
Kumusta
hold
ka?
on.
ah,
Mabuti naman. Mabuti naman kami. Thank you very much for that. Na-appreciate ng community, definitely speaking in Tagalog. So, for all of our guests right now, maybe can you tell us about your background? How did you start in Web3? How did you start into blockchain? What do you do before ICP? Basically, tell us your journey into building or discovering the Web3 or blockchain rabbit holes. Maybe we can start with Javier.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Javier Arroyo. I was born in Spain, in Madrid. I studied a bachelor and master degree in economics in Spain, in the Complutense University. And then my background is in finance and banking. I was working in different roles as risk management, control and compliance department, in different roles in Santander and BBVA in Spain. And then in 2019, I moved to Canada, to Vancouver, with my wife and start a new life here. And then, my first time that I heard something about crypto, it was in 2013 and 2014, but in a bad in a bad way, like the Silk Road and also the Mount Gox. But my first investment in crypto, it was in 2018. I invest in Dogecoin and Bitcoin. Yeah, and the story behind the investment in Dogecoin was pretty fun because I was with a friend, and then we doesn't know anything about cryptos, just like see the different Bitcoins and other cryptos in BitNovo. It was the name of the broker. And then I bought like $300 in Bitcoins in BitNovo, and then transferred to Jack's Liberty, like at the wallet, and then start to transfer money from Bitcoin to other cryptos. And I remember like my first crypto was Doge after Bitcoin. I bought like almost $300, and then maintained during 3-4 years, and it was crazy after that. Yeah, but this like my first approach with crypto was like Dogecoin. Yeah.
wow. And Dogecoin in 2018. That is pretty significant. The timeline. Yeah.
It was pretty significant. Yeah. But the thing is, on the maximum, instead of sell everything, I just maintain and then drop down again. And the value, it's not the biggest one, but I still there with Dogecoins. And I have, after that, I invest as well in Litecoin, like Ethereum for sure, and other cryptos. Yeah, this was pretty interesting journey. And for sure, I'm like hodlman. I just going to maintain during 10, 15, 20 years for sure. And now I have a stake in ICP, in the NNS. I only maintain the Dogecoins and a little bit Bitcoins, and the rest is investing in ICP. Yeah.
So in short, we have a silent millionaire here.
I think so.
Crypto, right?
Millionaire, but yeah, it's like looks more like $300. Maybe it was like a 40,000 or 50,000 or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Let's call in our next guest, William. Can you tell us about yourself first?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on today. Yeah, I came into Web3 sort of by accident. I fell into Web3. I thought crypto was a scam for a long time. So I think it was 2020. I found a decentralized social media site and I was like, oh, this is cool. I can start from the beginning here. So I was off of Twitter for about 12 years and I wanted to come back. It was during the time of COVID. Everyone was reevaluating their priorities. I wanted to show the world my art again. I'm also an artist aside from a writer. And so that was a way for me. I bought a little bit of Shiba Inu, made a little bit of money. This decentralized site was a way for me to show my art. It wasn't so much about making money or anything about crypto. It was just I like the concept of decentralization. I could start from new and I could build something that was not Twitter. So that's really how I got
Yeah,
into Web3. And that site was called DeSo, Decentralized Social Media. It's
yeah.
deso.org. And I have over 8,000 followers, and then it just has really died lately. So I don't know what the future. I sort of wish that I had not gotten off of Twitter because I'd probably have 50,000 followers or 100,000 followers
Yeah.
right now. But at the time I was teaching university, and I was telling my students, "Oh, get off of Twitter. That's a waste of time. You don't need to be on social media." I didn't know my career would take the path that it has. So my background, similar in some ways to Javier's, in that I used to work on Wall Street. I have a finance background that was in technology, so specifically data analytics. But at the same time, I've always been an artist. I've always been a writer. I've always written for several magazines. So I was able to take these, I guess, three talents: the tech talent, and the art talent, and the writing talent, and bring those into Web3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of exciting to be in this space right now where I'm leveraging all that. Before I was at ICP, I was working with a publication called Blockster. They're still around. I
Okay.
was brought in as the editor in chief, so I looked at what was being produced, and there wasn't really anything good being produced as far as content. So I revised that. I got Blockster on Google News, on Yahoo News, so totally revamped that. And then, as happens so much in crypto, they ran out of money, and the
So
next
Blockster was a crypto project. Uh,
Blockster was supposed to be sort of, yeah, like a Twitter, a social media
Yeah.
project on Web3 with all these different, similar to a Twitter, right, or similar to like a Discover or
mhm.
something like that, where you can tip content. But I don't want to go too much into that. They're still around. The all the stuff that had done has been uh, erased and disappeared. Uh, but there have some other issues right now with the federal government that I probably shouldn't talk about. But yeah, that's what I was doing before ICP. It's really great to be here
Mhm.
and great to be on your show. And thank you to Crypto Girl for telling me that you were doing the show today, Nelson. And she's not feeling great, but she's been really, really probably the most helpful person for me since I arrived in the ICP ecosystem. So
Yeah.
shout out to Crypto Girl.
Agree, agree. Shout out to Crypto Growth.
Yes.
William, thank you very much again for the time for gracing us here. Definitely, the time there definitely is going is a struggle. Yeah, but what Gamris mentioned earlier, um, he and also together with the community is very excited to see the person behind Fast Blocks. Later on, we'll explain.
Yes.
We'll talk about it more. And these kinds of AMs are really great to for engagement for the community, definitely. Okay, and our next guest, of course, one of the big projects here in IC, and one of the big community builders, currently doing a lot of Twitter Spaces and let me call on the swap. Kyle,
Yeah.
kindly introduce yourself to the community.
Yeah, hello everyone. So my name's Kyle. I also go by Stoffax Capital, which is like another Twitter handle for myself. So I guess basically, my history of getting into crypto, I think, is much like a lot of people. Well, if I backtrack to like high school, 2012, one of my buddies, kind of chirped in my ear about Bitcoin and all that, and
Mhm.
we ended up kind of doing like mining Bitcoin on our laptops and stuff. So we had like little bits of it and stuff, and years passed and didn't really like keep up with that, but I got back into crypto probably like 2018, 19. Started trading it a little bit more, getting used to it. And then I think, much like William mentioned, when
Mhm.
COVID happens, when I really got into it more, just kind of like felt like everyone was kind of, looking for stuff to do, whether it was, getting extra income or whatever.
Mhm.
Because of COVID,
Right.
it was just kind of like an important time to kind of focus on those things. So, prior to that, I have a history. I come from the service industry, so I've managed bars and restaurants and stuff for quite a long time.
Oh wow.
On top of it, I
Mhm.
also
Nice.
helped like do a lot of social media and stuff for local businesses. I did like radio advertisements and stuff as well. And then I also worked with a marketing agency. We had a bunch of like TikTok influencers and stuff as clients. Was with
Mhm.
them prior to really getting into the IC, and they
Mhm.
have about four their clients list like collectively like have over 400 million followers on TikTok.
Mhm.
So like they're a
Wow.
big group. But I didn't stay there too long. I kind of dove into more of getting into internet computer. One of my friends was kind of chirping more so about like the tech and stuff being pretty powerful here, and got to learn it a little bit more, and started helping some projects. I was with Internet Computer Services when we placed for the Supernova Hackathon. So I helped Rick Vic
Nice.
quite a bit, and I just kind of
Mhm.
got my flow and started doing more social media and stuff for a lot of projects, and that led me to where I am now.
Okay, great. Okay, of course, another guest for us is Crypto Girl Yana. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
she is currently sick right now and she cannot talk, but yeah, she provided her background in the comments. We'll do a lot of post
Right.
comms here to really introduce our
Right.
guests.
Sure.
And
Crypto girl. Yes. So yes, she posted her background and
go ahead, Gamris.
sure. Crypto girl mentioned that uh, crypto girl has so she heard about crypto back in 2011, and it was also in a bad way. So just as mentioned earlier by William. And her first investment was in 2017 and started working
Mhm.
in Web3 pretty much about 2019. And her background, she has 2 degrees. So her background is one is in nursing and in
Ah,
hospitality. So it's good. We have a lot of people
nice.
here who are really service oriented or connected or very, very,
Good point.
they're pretty much built for networking. We have 2 people who have like finance backgrounds and technology, and then in the
Yeah.
service, and then in the service industry, and then we have nursing and hospitality. So you can tell already from the start that a lot of the people on board in this space are pretty much well connected and know how to reach out to
Yeah.
people and are not afraid of making those connections. And we can talk
Yeah.
about
And
a lot of those.
yeah, Crypto Girl is very active in Twitter, and she also has a YouTube channel. And later on, we'll also basically dive into what she's doing right now, especially together with Team Bonsai and Contribute. She does a lot of NFT giveaways. I love the story behind the NFTs. Definitely, later on we'll learn more. But before we go there, I have a question for William. William, Can you tell us more about Fast Blocks? What's the mission and vision? Who are the
Yeah.
target market? Yeah, and anything regarding Fast Blocks. I'm a follower of Fast Blocks. I love the articles. It's very well written. I just want to say that you're doing a good job, and this is going to be something big in the next bull run, definitely. I just want the community wants to know as well. Why do you think people in the community's friends, relatives should subscribe at Fast Blocks? Go ahead, William.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, actually, there's a lot of questions in one there, so we'll try and unpack that.
Yes, sorry.
Um, the vision really was from Dom, right? So Dominic Williams wanted some type of Web3 news that would be fully on the ICP chain, right? So this was something that he had in his mind, I think, from what I understand, for 5 or 6 years. And then when Dom and team finally got around to it, I think their um, conversation was with Nuance, and they decided
Yeah.
to build this platform together. So I just want to shout out to Nuance too. Fast Blocks is built obviously on the Internet Computer Protocol, but it's running on a platform called Nuance, which is like a blogging platform you're probably all familiar with. Um, so Ricardo reached out to me. I'd known Ricardo from the beginning of last year. We talked about potentially doing some work together. Ricardo reached out to me, and next thing you know, I was involved with FastBlock. So the vision really is we want to have Web3 news that is not biased, that is not censored, at least that we know that we can put, we didn't want to be Decrypt, we didn't want to be Cointelegraph or one of these other things. We wanted to say that we were
Yeah.
fully on chain and so on and so forth, right? So the target market really is anybody that's getting into Web3. So we want to be somewhat educational in the future, but I think right now we're in a tricky situation where we want to shift more from news to education to lifestyle to things that are more evergreen and that will last a little bit more, because there's not a lot of value for our readers to just do the same thing that Cointelegraph is doing or CoinDesk or some of these things. Is just news. We want it to be content that lives a little bit more, right? That is more lifestyle, that is more thing that is more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So we want to do more work that spotlights founders, so on and so forth. So the community is going to open up soon. I think the Fast Blocks. We're talking about making two different, I would say, channels on Fast Blocks. So one would be, I don't know. I'm going out here right now on a limb. One would be more of a premium content. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. We'll have like a core team of writers, right? Now, that could also be open to the public. It could be gated access with an NFT. Then there would be another part which would be similar to Nuance, which would be open to the public. So if you want to write about something on the ecosystem, if you want to write about something in Web3, there'd be a space for you. But we don't know what that looks like. It might be governed by the SNS, where the people in the DAO vote on, okay, here's the content that we want, here's the amount of money as we give a tip to a writer, here's how much goes back to the DAO, here's how much goes to the writer, because we're going to have clapping soon on Fast Blocks. So
nice.
we're at a transition stage right now. We don't really know, we need to align our vision with Dom's vision, and we're trying to go with the next level on quality. So at the end of last month, we reduced our core writing team. So we're just trying to get better on quality and then expand outward from there. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. It seems like Fast Blocks is going to be like a Web3 project in the near future. You think?
Yes.
If that's the case, do you have plans of maybe crowdfunding, people who wants to invest in?
That's a really good question. So this is a time right now where we need to align our vision with Dom's vision. And when I say our vision, I'm not the product owner, right? So that would be Nuance itself. I'm more on the content side. So I'm getting more involved with Affinity itself on the marketing side, on running the Twitter spaces and doing those things. So what I think my mission and my role is going to be in the next 6 months is being able to guide Fast Blocks to that next stage, which will probably be run by the SNS And like you said, it would be a true Web3 project, and at the same
Mhm.
time still be hands-on the content. But it could have a very different business model in 6 to 12 months than it does right now, and it could be much more open to the public. That's all being discussed.
And that's great to hear, William. So do you also envision this as targeting people outside ICP and slowly luring them in with information about blockchain in general, and then slowly getting like creating that rabbit hole of
Yeah.
information so that eventually they get funneled into the IC ecosystem?
So this is a really great question, and let me unpack that. When we started out, I'm pretty sure this came directly from Dom, is that we said we didn't want any more than 20% of the content on Fast Blocks to be about ICP, right? We
Oh,
wanted it to
Okay.
be, we
right.
didn't want it to be a fanboy site or a fangirl
Mhm.
site, right?
Yes.
So we wanted to draw in the larger Web3 community with interesting content, which when you're starting from zero, is not, and you're going up against
Mhm.
CoinDesk, it's not that easy, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're reevaluating things. We still want to obviously go beyond the ICP community, but we want
Mhm.
to be able to echo a lot better what has been going on in the ICP community. So I've started to cross post the things that I've been posting on Fast Blocks on Medium,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Definity's Medium account has picked that up. My target for the foreseeable future on what I write is going to be very, very ICP focused. So while we go through this transition phase, I think we're sort of taking a step back and saying, well, we do want more ICP content, which we're producing. But the longer strategy, which you allude to, and that's
Mhm.
what we've been doing on Twitter Spaces specifically, is being blockchain agnostic, going out to communities, going out to the Ethereum community, to
Mhm.
the Solana community, having guests that are building on Polygon, that are building on Ethereum, and
Yeah.
saying, hey, come into our Twitter space, come into Infinity space, let's talk about it, because like Dom says, when he talks about blockchain singularity, we're all sort of working together in this space towards the same goal.
Right,
Yeah.
William. And I think that's important to stress Dom's vision because when he talks about singularity, we're not really trying to exclude everybody else out of ICP in this one. We're trying to create that system where
Yeah.
blockchains can easily integrate and there's a good healthy interaction amongst
Mhm.
interoperations with other blockchains. And I think
Yeah.
information is key here because we like you said, it's so easy to dismiss something nowadays as a
Mhm.
as a maximalist website or as something that
Yeah.
is biased for this and against that. And I
Agree.
think you're definitely on the right track, aligning your vision
Mhm.
with Dom's vision and
Mhm.
clarifying that for the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
that's a great point about, especially, let's talk about maximalism for 1 second. And so, okay, if people are BTC maxis, that's fine. We have CKBTC now. Come into our
Yeah.
ecosystem, and soon we'll be able to say the same thing about Ethereum, right? So ICP is at a really amazing place right now, and all the D apps are going to be able to piggyback off of some amazing opportunities very shortly that
Mhm.
are, as you say, extremely inclusive.
Yeah. Hi, yeah, William. Fast blocks right now are all in English. Do you have plans of maybe getting Filipino writers, Japanese writers,
I
Korean
would,
writers on
yeah,
their native language?
we would love that. Two of the languages, obviously Spanish, right? Because it's the closest here. We have more Spanish speakers probably that are accessible to us. Chinese would be
Yeah.
another one, because we really, really have an
Yeah.
amazing community in China that we want to
It's a big
cultivate
community. Yeah.
more. And
Yes.
of course, yeah, a Filipino, that would also be Filipino, Portuguese. There are a lot
Yeah.
of different possibilities there. What I'm not exactly sure of is that how we would go forward on that. But if we open more to the public, I think it's inevitable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. Agree. Yep. Thanks, William, for that. Yeah. Going over to Javier. Javier, can you tell us about Let's Talk ICP? You've interviewed a lot of influential IC people at your podcast.
Yes.
Personal question: who is your favorite or most memorable guest?
Okay, yes. Let's Talk ICP is a podcast of interviews related to Internet Computer Protocol and the Unity Foundation. The idea
Mhm.
is like talk with developers, engineers, content creators, and Twitter enthusiasts who contribute to the Internet Computer ecosystem. Um, when I start into the Let's Talk ICP, I saw like in ICP we talk a lot about technology. We talk about
Mhm.
yeah, CKPTC, canisters, like oracles and different complex things. Um, Also, we talk about different projects, ICP ecosystem projects, but we don't know exactly normally who is behind these projects, what is their backgrounds, why they did these projects, and the idea
Yeah.
of ICP is digging more in each project. Like it's totally different, for example, compared with Twitter spaces that are really, really good. But my idea is like focusing more in the person and talk like one to one, just me and the guest, and digging more in their lives as well,
Mhm.
in the project, right? Not only the main or the key things of the project, also like the future, also the how they start the project, what are their other owners or other colleges, or how they found the project is like
Mhm.
useful, and these type of questions that maybe normally in a Twitter space is more difficult, and also because when you talk one to one with one person and it's not live, it's more they try to be more open, right? And they try to explain everything more with more details. And yeah,
Mhm.
the podcast is more or less 1 hour, between 45 minutes to one
Yeah.
hour, and it's just talk about one project. It's not talk with different projects, different person.
Agree.
It's just focusing in the owner or in the also like artists. For example, I interview like different artists, interview different Definity members as well, ICP community. Maybe William is one of my next ones there, and also Kyle.
And
um,
Kyle the swap.
yeah, and then I interview like a lot of smart guys, honestly. Bob Dilly, for example, from Entrepot. Human Sadaf is like a teacher in the university and
Mhm.
owner of ICME. And Kini, Diego Prats from the Definity
Yeah.
Foundation. Raymond
Yes.
Aracuenta from Catalyze. Austin Fatere, Origin, like a lot of smart guys.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
the question that you mentioned about my favorite one, maybe the most memorable one for me was with Barry Pasler, the founder of
Um,
Canistore. Yeah,
oh yeah.
he's a nice guy. He's a
Oh,
really good guy, an excellent
He's
person. He's so
very
ambitious.
active.
He's so ambitious, and Coin Store is like a big, big project. But he's so humble, and the way that
Yeah.
he talked about ICP, the way that you see the reflection in his eyes is like passion.
Agree.
Like he feels
Agree.
passionate about ICP.
Yeah.
He loves the music industry. He has a lot of knowledge about music industry. He
Mm.
knows a lot of people surrounding his business.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember I connected with him so well. The interview was really well. You can enter into the Let's Talk ICT and listen the interview. But it was, I think, one of the best ones.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it was my favorite one. And then for sure with Hot or Not. Hot or Not is the second
yes.
one with
Oh
Rishi
yeah,
Chada
yeah.
and with Carl Royal, because they are based in Vancouver as well, in UBC, the University of British Columbia. And yeah, there are my friends. We
Nice.
hang out and go to lunch, dinner, party, and yeah, they are great guys. And Hot or Not as well. It was an excellent interview. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yes,
this
it's
one is
great
good.
to hear. Uh, yeah, and I noticed that you interviewed your interviews definitely, especially the technical ones. Like I listened to your interview with Austin, and it's yeah, he can you can bring your interviews to a very technical level if needed. Have you ever had like encountered that feeling that maybe your audience might feel that, oh, you need some way to bridge this information so that the not so technical people are able to catch up, or do you allow your guests to discuss in full detail, and then later on, like, simplify some concepts for the audience? Like, how do you balance that the reaching out to the technical experts at the same time, like targeting your audience who may or may not understand the whole scope of the technology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a great question. I try to like do like uncomfortable questions
Nice.
and try to be like a newie and try to be like okay, if I'm like a grandpa or whatever, I don't know anything about this technology, how it works, you know. And normally like the owners try to like talk about technology and like try to speak about complex things. But then I always, because I'm a businessman as well, right? I study like finance, and I always try to, okay, this is great, the technology is there, but how you can convert in a real life, right? How you can convert in a business.
Yeah.
And then is when they start to like explain in an easy words, and even if I don't understand, I try to dig in more, you know, in easy words, because I know I put in the shoes of people that don't have any idea about maybe technology or maybe even ICT, and
Mhm.
try to like dig in more in this type of questions, you know. And for sure, the podcast is more general. We talk during 45 minutes or 1 hour, but when the speaker try to be more technical, I always try to, you know, push back again and hey, you go so farther and maybe you need to explain everything better, you know, in a better way. But
Right.
always with
And
simple words. Yeah, but for sure, uncomfortable questions are the best way because they don't,
Yeah.
you know, waste these type of questions. And they
Mhm.
normally I try to prepare like the questions, but I never share with the speakers because
oh, okay.
it looks like more natural. For sure, it's not like a Trump questions. All the questions are related with the business. And if you are the
Yeah.
owner of your business, you know everything, right? If I ask, for example, William about fast blocks, it's not any tricky question. He knows everything about fast blocks, or Kyle about the swap, right? It's the same.
Mhm.
Depends the project.
Uh, yeah. Javier, will you be doing cross chain, meaning inviting other projects as well from different blockchain? What's the roadmap with your podcast?
Yeah, this is my idea in the future by now, because I think we have curated like 340 tabs on internet computer. My idea is like even the small projects, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
ICP is
Yeah.
not just for the biggest ones. It's also for the small projects and for artists. And the ICP ecosystem is huge. And before to dig in more in cross chains, I try to like have speakers from ICP. But
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of projects that by nature there are cross chain, right? It's not only in ICP.
Yeah.
For example, wallets
Exactly.
project that it works in ICP, but as well in Ethereum or in Solana or in other different
Agree.
blockchains. But the idea by now is just focusing on ICP and try to like understand every single project on ICP. I have to do like a lot of podcasts, right?
Oh, that's great. And do you plan to cross post your interviews and across the different ICP ecosystems? Like once Catalyze has some of its functions available, would you also post there or in Discover? Like once you have the ability to advertise your platform or expand your reach, would you consider moving to some of ICP's Web3 decentralized platforms?
You mean for the like updates for the new
Yeah,
projects?
yes. Or
Yeah,
if you have a new interview, cross post it there, and you know
yeah.
have it.
I have next week an interview with Stinet. Stinet is a bio. That's
I,
complicated to explain, honestly. But they try to share the information with labs,
Mm-hmm.
with
mm,
hospitals on the blockchain. And if,
I see.
for example, the labs do like a research,
Mhm.
they can monetize the research and share
Mm-hmm.
with other
Uh,
hospitals, with other labs, and it's really really cool. I have another interview in 2 weeks with Astrox. for example.
Asterix.
Yeah, Astrox is a really great project for NFTs and for wallets. But this is a good question because normally it's so complex, and Web3 is all the time update. And even if you do one interview today, maybe in 2 weeks it's not
Yeah.
updated, and they maybe do like a crowdfund NFT,
Agree.
or maybe they have another project, or maybe
Mhm.
they have partners with whatever. And I saw, for example, with Unfold VR, right? Unfold VR, they are working with Origin, and when I interview the Unfold VR, a week after or a week and a half after, they have like another 5 or 6 updates that is not included in my podcast. And normally it's like a
Oh,
little bit
wow.
be updated,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But
Oh,
normally
wow.
I try to do like a second
Yeah.
Yeah.
episode, or at least like
Yeah.
updates each 6 months or each a year. Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would
Yeah.
be
Thank
great.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Javier. I would like to call on the swap, of course, Kyle. Can you tell us more about the swap spaces? I think it's one of the most followed or most engaged Twitter spaces currently in IC, especially the proof of useful work discussion you did with Dom. Can you tell us the story behind how did it start?
Yeah. So first off, I'd like to say like everyone here is doing a fantastic job too with like podcasts and stuff. I'm very like appreciative of, I think we all kind of like look to educate people furthermore,
Agree.
and bring awareness to the ecosystem. But yeah, the discussing proof of useful work with Dominic, from being on the internet computer for like over the past year, I've always kind of tweeted at Dominic, try to get his attention and stuff from working my butt off. And luckily I got his attention and struck up that conversation to get
Yeah.
the consensus, discussion going. And yeah, he agreed to come on the space, which was awesome. Daniel, my co-host, really crushed it. Daniel's a developer for Outpost, which is a metaverse project. So he's super technical. And, I'm somewhat technical, but, nowhere near those guys. So I appreciate Daniel to really come through and, really like crush it for us on that space. We got Dom to even push a meeting back and stuff. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, like the swap space in general, we've been doing it for a couple months. Pretty much just looking to get, I guess, very similar to what both, everyone here, get projects on, interview founders. We'll look to kind of go like agnostic to bring more awareness to IC. It kind of connects to like all of our stuff's going to be built on internet computer because like the way the canisters and all that work, like the more users that end up using internet computer will burn more tokens overall. So yeah, we're kind of looking to bring some projects on, and that kind of comes in with my role of working with Outpost as the community builder around the metaverse. And Go to Gamer is like going to be like a pretty big DApp overall. I kind of call it like the universal like ultimate gamer platform in a sense. So that's going to help kind of bring in more adoption and stuff. So it's really important for us to kind of be open to bringing integrations with like other networks and stuff so that they come to IC, and that kind of ties into like the whole blockchain singularity down the road, if that actually does come true.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely ambitious, and we definitely have to do our part to attract some big names to the space.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw your recent tweet. You'll be bringing in a big Bitcoin community within the Twitter space. Is this the roadmap for the Twitter space that you have right now, the swap, and bringing on projects from other blockchains as well?
Yeah, so definitely we're like, I'm looking to try to get like Ethereum projects and stuff over here. Like there's already some that are kind of working with Outpost. So like I'm looking to kind of further develop a lot more relationships over there to kind of bring them in, show them the tech, and introduce them to some people. But yeah, we have a Bitcoin conference coming on to our space in like 5 hours from now. So Brandon is going to be Brandon's going to be our guest. I'm not sure if it's going to be the Bitcoin conference account, but Brandon works for Bitcoin conference and Bitcoin magazine. So he's very experienced on their team. We'll be covering Bitcoin Conference Miami. I have media coverage passes for the swap, so Daniel and I will be going there. And then we also are going to be covering NFT NYC in April. So for like the course of the year, the swap's trying to build more awareness. So I'm going to try to go to more and more conferences, of gather more relationships, network and stuff with other projects. I think majority of our stuff is kind of be ready in like 2024. It's tough to say because it kind of factors in on other projects. Outpost, they're thinking they'll be ready from summer. I've gotten to test a lot of stuff, and I actually test stuff for like Discover and other projects too.
Nice.
I'm like the guinea pig. I'm working all the time. So like I'll help them out with stuff like that, and I get to explore the worlds before other people do typically.
Do you imagine
Sorry, one last question.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just imagining. Do you imagine the gaming platform to be closer to Twitch or closer to like Steam?
So I would say it's probably more so like Steam. But
nice.
like it's gonna have. It's tough to say because the internet computer tech's still very early, and like there's a lot of development being done, but like it's not like there might be bits where all of a sudden another team's working on something where it's open source where we might be able to integrate it. But I kind of see it as like there's going to be. Are you guys familiar with like a sports book? Like, sorry, this is gonna be like gambling related, but like if you're at like a casino, there's like a sports book, a bunch of different games and stuff, right? Now, if you're in a metaverse and you're wanting to watch all these different streams at once, and you're at like a sports book lounge and you kind of see, one screen here and it's one Twitch streamer or Kick or whatever, you could select that and you're in that stream and you're supporting it. I think that is very realistic to do over time, but I don't know how soon something like that would be integrated into the platform. I see it more so being like a social-fi, and games integrate to us like Steam would. You'd be able to find a game and so on. So I think we're a very critical project for the ecosystem to really expand, because it's going to help all those smaller game projects get exposure. And a lot of people are going to like play to earn, but not every game is really going to have the stature of like volume of community members to really have a coin themselves. So I think our platform in the grand scope of things would be a DAO, which controls a lot of the coin exposure for a lot of different games. But that's still like early in the whole aspect of it. But I would say we're a platform that every game would want to utilize, because we do tournaments, leagues, wagers, and all that. So it's very ambitious, and luckily like there's some really good teams in the Outpost that can help. But yeah, we're gonna definitely be looking to do some funding and stuff, and grants and stuff from Definity.
Yeah, and of course we have your number one fan here, Gambris. It's very active, definitely, especially with the swap and the Gated Gamer DAO and everything. Just going back, Kyle, on the conferences, will you be supporting the IC conference on May?
Yeah. So, well, that kind of ties in. I might be there. I know Cedric from Coden State. And I know Vibrant's going to be there as well. It's already like in our timeline, since I'll be at Bitcoin conference, like we have our passes. So I think it's in the wheelhouse to plan for it to be at the events. I always like networking with teams. I've been to a Coden State events prior to. It's actually where I met Daniel in person. But yeah, those events are very energetic, electric. Like there's so much energy behind it. It's fun to be at. So
nice. Yeah. It's so interesting. It's so interesting, Sir, because we have three different focuses on the IC here. So we have William that focuses like 20% on the IC, and then the rest would be a little more general to blockchain. So if you're starting to get your feet wet or starting to introduce yourself to crypto, you go to their platform, and then
You have a
Javier
good point there. Yeah.
introduces IC related projects and everything that you can sort of nitpick from those projects, and then you go to Kyle, which is a little more specific already within the IC, which is like the gamer focused
Yeah.
um, projects, and it's just so interesting that you can see how they where they're all focusing on building for the IC, but
Yeah.
there's a good movement between all these three projects, and it just goes to show we're all sharing that same vision of getting people involved in this
Agree.
community.
Agree.
So
The
It's a
great
good
thing,
mix.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to say
this one is a good mix. Oh,
yeah,
yes, definitely. Especially if you're going into the IC ecosystem, and all their their handles will be placed in the description, so yeah, viewers can follow. And of course, this will be perpetually recorded in YouTube. That's a good thing with YouTube, and it's going to be, I think, one of the biggest search engine in the future. So what we're doing right now is, I think, is very big and definitely good. And okay, I just want to change the topic. This is something that the community wants. I want to pick your brain on this. You can give your opinions. I just want to raise the topic of fighting FUD. Your thoughts on the current FUD that IC is receiving. I think recently Justin Bond's recent tweet. And I just want to ask as well if you're able to listen to the very long, actually, 2 hour Twitter space that happened. Every minute of it, I listened and I was yeah, captured by it. Appreciate your thoughts. Anyone can, yeah. Maybe William, your thoughts?
on the Twitter space with the what was his name? The guy from
Justin
Belgium.
Bonds.
Yeah,
yeah.
Justin
Right,
Bonds.
right. Yeah, no, I listened to it, and what was amazing is what a great job Kyle Langham did on that
Yeah,
too.
Oh,
exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that was interesting, and it was going well in the sense that he admitted that he probably shouldn't have used the Arkham report, and then Arkham showed up, and then got really
oh
really
yes.
Yeah.
so I don't have much to say other than I'm looking forward to seeing what the next phase of this is. If we go back with wallet addresses, and we're going to be obviously fully transparent, giving this information out and seeing what the reaction is on their side. What was
Agree.
extremely disappointing was that when they had the guy from Arkham on, I don't recall his name right now. He's like, oh, well, we don't really have that information. Why would we keep that information? We're a startup. We're an
Yeah.
agile company. We're like, what the hell, dude? If you're making
Yeah.
those level of
Yeah.
accusations, you better have that info somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. William, I just want to add, how do you think that IC people should fight FUD? What are tips you can give? Do we
It's a
engage with
really
them, block them, don't mind them? What do you think?
it's a really good question, and it has different answers. It's funny because last week I published an article called "Don't Let the Trolls Steal Your Soul" about the fun that was happening,
Yeah.
and with a cute AI generated graphic with two gremlins. If it's something on the technology side, I will defer to somebody else, right? But I think if you look at how Diego handles things, I think he does a really good job of listening. Really if trying to listen first, and then understand the context and get the right person to make the case. That is assuming that the other side is going to listen and not these,
Yeah.
because you can't respond to every troll, especially if people
Agree.
are like, oh, this project's a rug, this project's a scam. When we did a conference here in Miami 3 months ago, the Women in Web3 conference, we had people coming by my booth and be like, hey, isn't this the project where people rug? And that gives you an opportunity to talk to people one-on-one and work with people. You don't always get that on Twitter, say. So I hate to say it, but sometimes you just have to move on. because
Agree.
you're not going to be able to convince everybody one on one on social media that
Mhm. Thank
you
you,
know
William. Kyle, the
yeah.
swap, appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah. So, I mean, Justin Bonds has been a critic of the IC for a while, and like one like some of his criticism is directed towards like terminology, which
Yeah.
not all of it is valid. But I do think there's some things that we could, probably word a little bit better. But I thought the space overall was just very interesting. Obviously, we touched on Arkham coming. And like it's crazy that Arkham had 100 followers when they got pushed through to New York Times. That's just insane. Like that just doesn't happen without like someone paying for that to go through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I I think there's constructive criticism that helps us get the proper feedback to improve, and that itself is valuable. But if someone's just saying like something negative with no factual information behind it,
Yeah.
or just very generic, like ICP sucks, like that obviously is probably not the best to engage with because you're just feeding the algorithm, and it'll just get more and
Yeah.
more traction. But the best way to kind of combat any FUD, one is to have the research and education proper to back your conviction on anything that you're ever in, not just specifically
Agree.
ICP. Education's a big part of any investment. If the community is more educated, then more people can at least spread awareness. So
Mhm.
Right. And Crypto Girl even messaged it on the chat. One good
Okay,
strategy is
nice.
to kill them with kindness.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Javier, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think the space was really good, really useful for everyone. The Affinity team did a great job, excellent job.
Yeah,
Kyle, Andrew,
agree.
Lomesh, and also ICP people. They did really great job. And honestly, I think ICP technology is difficult to understand, even for people that works in the Affinity or the ICP during a long time. It's difficult to understand, and I'm I'm curious how like just people, for example, just Justin Bonds. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a knowledgeable guy, and he knows about a lot of different cryptos. But ICP is so complex, right? And he tried to
Mhm.
like dig in maybe a day or 2 days or maybe 3 days about ICP technology and talk a lot of different
Yeah.
threads about
Yeah.
ICP. And I think the key things or the key points in ICP, the key concepts they doesn't understand. He doesn't understand, right? Doesn't difference between
Yeah.
smart contracts and canisters or how it works, the
Mhm.
CKBTC,
Yes.
And in my opinion, it's like it's just criticize for criticize. And
Yeah.
as Kyle
Yeah.
said, like constructive criticals, that's fine, right? But if you try to like destroy like a project or talk bad about this project and you don't have
Mhm.
facts, you don't have anything behind, the same as Arkham, right? This is not good and it's not the truth, right? And in my opinion, people needs to try to build more and take advantage more about the ICP technology, just instead of like just be fat and do like fake
Mhm.
things, right? And I think we kind of struggle against the truth with just show the facts, right? Show the facts with arguments. We have a lot of resources in ICP. Honestly, the Definity did a great job. We have a lot of articles in fast blogs, in nuance,
Yeah.
in
Agree.
the web pages, ICP web pages, guides, the report, right? The crypto leaks. We have a lot of information, and
Yes.
people try to like maybe live in other world and try to like criticize just for criticize, but the facts are there, and all
Mhm.
the news and all the articles are there. You just need to Google it and read a little bit more, inform a little bit more, and then you can maybe talk about or do like full
Yeah.
Right.
constructive part, right? And
And the culture of the community of the ICP community so far right now is really a lot of the people try to educate rather than just fight the FUD by name calling or being toxic
Mhm.
as well. So a lot of us are just pointing to the right resources or correcting like like even Justin, who already has some technical understanding, is still being corrected on the spot by like members from Definity and the rest of the team. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good strategy rather than just saying, "Oh, you're just fun and you're not really creating anything useful in this space, so just stop posting." So I think the
Yeah.
ICP has done a good job of accepting the criticism, but clarifying as well what they're trying to argue about and give better arguments. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that culture of the IC people is great. I hope it never goes away.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a good point. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, I'm 100% agree. Yeah, and then it's impossible to try to explain each single person, as William said before. Like, hey, this is not true, and this is the facts, and maybe Twitter Spaces it's really good tool, right? Because you can send the same message with maybe thousands of people, and this is it's a good way to educate. I think so.
Okay. Okay. We'll try to get some community questions because we give out prizes for those questions that are chosen. But before that, again, I want to pick your brain on this. How do you think the IC landscape will look like in the next bull run, 2024, 2025? Of course, this is of course in your own opinion, not financial advice. What will be the price of ICP? Do you
Yes.
think on the next bull run? And why do you think people should take notice of ICP as an investment? Sorry, degen question, not financial advice, but these are all opinions. And another, I just want to add as well is, in your opinion, who will be the top projects by then in the IC landscape? Of course, the swap. Who else you think has a potential to grow with ICP? Okay, go ahead. Anybody can answer.
I'll take this.
Go ahead, William.
And I have to be careful, especially when talking about projects, because there are a lot of projects that
Agree.
I cover and I like. But there are. I'll answer in backwards order. So I really like what this DSCVR is doing. I really like the potential of what Hot or Not is doing, what their Bill Bazinga team is doing. Of course, the Nuance platform. As far as the ICP price, I don't want to speculate on it, but I will say this. Because of the way that the NNS is set up and the governance model is that it's sort of staking, but it's not. So if the U.S. government is really going to put staking under the radar and really analyze on, I don't know what they're. Sorry, I need more coffee. If they're going to put staking under a microscope and try and over regulate or regulate, I think, and I'm hoping that because of the way that the staking model or the NNS is set up, it's not really staking, right? And it's even not staking in the traditional sense where you're securing the network. So I'm hoping that we can sort of go under the radar on that topic, and that alone would attract many people into the ecosystem, I think, as far as investors. I could be totally wrong, but I'm hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Same here. Yeah, Kyle, the swap.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, like price action, I'm not really gonna speculate there either. I think the more users that we see onboarded through the social aspects are really what's going to help drive a lot of the early adoption to IC. We have to remember that they had a 20-year roadmap, and we're not even at year 2, right? So as far as like updates and stuff that are going from like the big top projects right now, you have Discover, District are really leading the way. Open Chat's about ready to launch the SNS. Yes. Hot or Not, like they preload their cycles the way the IC is supposed to be, right? And they had a huge spike of cycle burn. I think right before the British Columbia event that Javier was at with them. I think it was just right before then that they had the huge spike. So if TikTok were to get banned, that's a pretty big indicator that Hot or Not could see some overflow of users coming to their platform. So there's a lot of factors that are out of sight, out of mind at the time, but I think the social impact right away is probably what's going to drive in a lot more users, people getting deplatformed and such. I hope that, come 2024, I think that's realistically for when Go to Gamer DAP starts to see like a lot of stuff come out into light. We're gonna have tournament canisters and stuff, hopefully within the next month, maybe 2 months, where we'll basically have our users kind of test like little pre-alpha stages of what gaming and stuff. Like basically, our holders will kind of vote on what games and stuff we'll play, and from there we'll give them some rewards and stuff. We have some NFTs locked up, and hope to see some spark come from that. I think gaming is going to see like a brief glimpse of like the next bull run, but I think it's going to be much later. A lot of games take time. People need to understand that. I think Harry Potter took like 8 years to make, and that's a new one, and that had like 300 million hours already logged in, which is crazy. So I think people need to understand that games, they do take time to process. But I'm very excited for Outpost. I think IC 1101 is a good metaverse project as well. But I think Outpost is going to be a big sleeper to people. I think from what I've seen, like being able to play metaverse on your phone is going to be insane. And IC 1101 can't do that. They require too much RAM. But yeah, Outpost, you'll be able to play on your phone, which I think is going to be pretty game changing for the IC.
Yeah. Wow. Kyle, do you think the narrative for the next bull run will be gamify metaverse, or will it be something else? Maybe socialfy, or maybe even Chat GPT integration. That's something that is building up for some reason.
I mean, I know there's AI involved. I think it's interesting because AI allows for people to kind of get that breather from their current work, like 9 to 5, all this. Like you could utilize it for so many different things, and we're going to see big tech kind of cut down on more jobs and start utilizing AI with their industry. Which I think then gives more creators time to build their platforms overall. So I hope that kind of inspires new content creators to come over to Web3. So I think it all kind of plays a mix. Content creation is a huge industry, and I think we're just at the tip of it. Like we're just scratching the surface. Because it plays a role in gaming too. So like it's really tough to say what's really going to be the driving factor. But gaming, I released a post today. It was a chart. They're expecting gaming revenue to exceed 320 billion by 2026.
Wow.
Personally, I'm not sure if that's even counting crypto involved in it yet. But crypto, I think, allows gaming to potentially reach $1 trillion industry with ease once you start factoring in things. But it gets really advanced. But yeah, I think metaverses will see like little bits of it, but they're going to be evolving for the next 20, 30 years. Like it's tough to say what's going to be the key thing for the next 5 years in the metaverse. It's going to be constantly evolving. 3D interactive worlds, like our Twitter spaces, could essentially be in a public cafe and outpost, essentially. And you're interacting in your avatar and stuff. So that's just stuff to keep in mind. I think it's a combination of things overall.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, Javier, your thoughts on the IC landscape in the next bull run? What do you think?
Yeah, this is so difficult to predict for sure, figure out the price for the 2024. But I think ICP is the most underrated or underpriced project in the best 50 cryptos, for sure. It's a long-term project, as Kyle said. The roadmap is for 2040, and I think it's not the best crypto to just speculate, like buy now and sell in a year or whatever. This is a long-term project, and if you trust in ICP, is the best crypto to buy. But if you only want to like trade and like buy now and sell and buy and sell is not the best one, honestly. It's the best one for a stake, and it's the best one for having on the long term. Yeah, but I don't know exactly the price for next year. It's so difficult to
Yeah.
And
That's a
then the
detailed
best,
question. Sorry.
yeah, exactly. And then the best projects for me, Origin for sure. This is like this
Yeah.
is so big. Origin, they
Origin.
have a great project, great team. The biometrics and the technology that they are working as are crazy. Uh, they fight against the counterfeits, and this is
Mhm.
something pretty huge. Not only in ICP, it's all around the world, and I think Origin is one of the best ones, one of the best companies that working against the counterfeits, and I think will be. Now it's a big project. It's one of the biggest projects in ICP, but for the next
Yeah.
years, I think it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah.
Then Hot or Not for sure, the TikTok one, because it's like a TikTok version but updated, and it's like an evolution. Even people can earn rewards, just to see different videos. They can earn
Mhm.
rewards, and they can vote the Hot or Not, right? This is the idea of the game, and this is pretty cool. And then I have another underrated project. Is Unfold VR. Unfold VR is all regard
Yes.
metaverse and create crazy things. And they are collaborating as well with Origin and with other projects, as well with District. And I think it's a really good project. And I bet for the music ones, for Coin Store and Tracks. I think this
Yeah.
is the
Agree.
evolution for the Spotify, and they are great teams. They are honestly different projects. It's both related with music, but in a different approach. I think they can match it, and they can maybe collaborate in the future. But I think Coin Store and Tracks for the next years, they can
Yeah.
do like a great
And
thing.
Trax is still crowdfunding now, so
Still
it's
ongoing.
still,
Yeah. I
it's
think
still
eight
ongoing.
days.
Yeah,
8 days to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's still time.
Yeah,
Somehow,
Javier.
somehow.
You gave you were very generous with the projects. Thank you for that, Javier. How about DeFi, decentralized exchange? What do you think?
Yeah, DeFi for sure. DeFi, they did
Yeah.
like IC Labs a few weeks ago in Zurich in the HQ of Definity. Definity bets a lot for the DeFi, and now with the CKBTC integration, with
Yeah.
the integration of Bitcoin, and then for the Ethereum in the future and for other blockchains, I think DeFi is for sure one of the biggest projects for ICP community. We are
Yeah.
trying to
Agree.
figure out the stable coin, how we can do the stable coin on ICP, on which projects can do that, because
Yes.
it's complex,
Exactly.
it's not
It's
easy
needed.
to do. But let's see. Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
that DeFi for the next months, they have like a lot of surprises. And all the DeFi teams, they did like different meetings and workshops
Mhm.
together.
Mm.
And maybe we have some surprises for the next months. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So excited
Yeah.
about
William and Kyle. Any idea with the stablecoin? And you think it's very critical that the IC need to have a stablecoin?
I can answer this first, I guess. I think, yeah, it is important to have. It is going to attract more traders and all of that.
Mhm.
It'll be a liquidity pool essentially, right? So people will be able to
Yeah.
use it, be able to trade a little bit more comfortably. So yeah, I absolutely agree. It's important. I don't know. Personally, I'm not necessarily like full blown in DeFi. I'm trying to build stuff, but I think DeFi is obviously a huge part of the future with lending and getting people the resources and stuff they need. So
Yeah, I just echo
William.
what Kyle said. It's important for liquidity, right?
Yeah.
And I, I haven't heard much, and maybe I'm out of touch. I haven't heard much on stablecoin on the ICP, but I think it's inevitable, and the
Yeah.
use cases are many. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Supposedly we'll be getting community questions, but I'm kind browsing with the community questions right now. Most of them are addressed already or pretty generic. What we'll be doing is after this show, we'll be doing post comms materials together with Crypto Girl and together with the promotion of the NFT and contribute. We'll discuss that. And yeah, we've already reached our 1 hour mark. Before
But
we end, Gamris, do you have additional question? Being a number one fan and of the community, very active, really.
oh yeah, well, I guess my question is, would you guys consider coming to the Code and State meetup in Florida this May? And if
Sorry,
yes,
me in Philippines
no,
or
no,
to
no,
everybody.
to everybody, to the ones in the space, would you consider coming to Florida for the
I'll,
meetup?
I'll take that. So I just talked to them yesterday, and I'll probably be speaking there, and I'll
Oh,
be
nice.
Oh,
involved with that. I saw that Blockchain Boy and Joshua
yeah.
Jake are also coming, so uh, I'll get to meet them in real life. So the answer on my end is an absolute yes.
Nice. And how
Javier,
about
Kyle.
Javier or
Yeah.
Kyle? You have to come.
Unfortunately, I have now solving my visa here, problems with my visa in Canada, and I cannot be travel to
I can't
Florida.
leave.
Yeah, I can leave, but I promise I still continues with my job in universities in Canada. We have a lot of different events for the future. The next one is with Quantic. Quantic is in Washington. It's a MBA school, business school and technology school. Paul Musen, the finance vice president of Definity, will be the speaker this night
Ooh,
of
nice.
March. And then we have another events in Waterloo University. We did the Michigan one last week, but we have more
Yes,
updates for the
with
next
Jordan.
for
Mhm.
March and April.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, final words before we end the AMA. Where to follow upcoming activities and events. We will include everything on the description so people can follow and engage. Go ahead. Let's start with Kyle.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys can follow the swap on Twitter. It's the swap, the underscore swap. I do have a QR code that has like all of our links. We have a lot of socials.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
I'm building sub like I have a ton of Discord or Discover portals. We have a music portal because it's going to tie into a lot of the swap with festivals and stuff later on, whether it's in a metaverse or trying to do it before an IRL like conference. Like we're trying to
Mhm.
get to a conference and stuff, but it might be more so metaverse based first. Meetups and stuff are
Oh,
gonna be a
yeah.
priority. Just kind of getting to that scale, but we definitely have a lot of connections to do some IRL events.
In the
Alicia,
Philippines, Kyle.
yeah, I hope I hope that would be awesome to be able to do.
You already have on ground support. ICT
Definitely,
Manila.
definitely like collaborating and all that with you guys to do something. I'd be happy to do that. You just got to get to that point, and once more stability's like in with doing the events and stuff, we'll definitely have a game plan of reaching out to other areas in the world to doing that. And I'd love to come and collaborate and do an event live with you guys. That'd be awesome.
Okay, William.
Yeah, like Kyle says, collaborations are key, and to that point, Javier and I collaborate very frequently. He'll throw me some content, which I'll edit and publish. Ian and I collaborate literally every day, so it's only inevitable that Kyle and I will be collaborating on something soon. But as far as where to find me, start with Twitter. It's William Laurent3, just my first name, last name, and the number 3. And come and listen to my Twitter Spaces. All Definity Spaces are usually on Thursdays at 1 p.m. New York time. And as I mentioned before, I have a lot of people that are not in the ecosystem. So today we have a gentleman, Alec Torelli. He was the high stakes poker champion of the world. He's won millions and millions of dollars in high stakes poker. The author of Conscious Poker, which is a best-selling poker book, and he's also building a lot of great things in Web3. So those are the types of guests that I have on. Please comment and support. Give a listen. Thank you.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Javier.
Yeah. First of all, yeah. Thank you so much, ICP Manila. Thank you, Nelson, Patrick, Iana,
You're welcome.
the speakers, and all the community for this opportunity. I think it was a really great conversation. Yeah, then again, like just collaborations. If you want me to interview a particular project, please let me know for the
Yeah.
ICP, for the Let's Talk ICP. That's it. Yeah, just really appreciate it. And
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Actually,
Thank you.
thank you guys for your time. I know it's a struggle with the time zone difference and everything, and maybe in the future we can do one episode to each one of you. William of Fast Blocks, Kyle of the Swap, of course, and Javier, another one, and Crypto Girl Yana. Let's make it happen. We're trying to do also a weekly episode within our IC Stories Manila, and to continuously grow. Yeah, bring education to the IC ecosystem. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
So much.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Gamris, stay muna tayo Tagalog. Okay, Gamris,
Grabe.
may co-host. Ano tingin mo sa show? Ano tingin mo sa show
Grabe
natin?
napaka-jump pack ng information.
Ang daming info. Parang
Grabe.
naisip ko nga kulang yung 1 hour. Kasi nga, lagpas na tayo ng 1 hour eh.
Oo nga, hindi
Tas
mo na
bitin pa.
napansin. Oo. Tsaka si
Bitin pa,
Javier,
diba?
yung iniisa-isa niya yung mga projects, mga alpha.
That's a good point, no?
Kasi na-interview na niya. So, yun yung medyo light, parang research mo na rin yun eh. Naintindihan.
Yun na, exactly, di ba?
Oo. Sinabi naman niya, kung hindi niya naintindihan, paglilinawin niya. E de, pag sinundan mo yung kanyang podcast o pinakinggan mo yung mga interview niya, mas madaling maintindihan mo kung talagang maganda yung projects na yan.
Yeah. Oo nga eh.
Galing.
Kailan ka babalik na Pilipinas, Gamris?
Ako, taon-taon naman. Siguro pag hindi masyado mainit. Kasi
Marami tayong event eh. Regular naman yung event. No?
nakita naman tayo nung last time.
yung
Sa
off-chain.
Sa
Tuesday may off-chain ulit. Tapos sa Sabado, sa Bicol, meron tayong parang magtuturo tayo sa Bicol Blockchain IT, sa local government, tsaka sa Bicol University, how to deploy sa IC. So ano siya, parang half-day session siya. Meron tayong on-ground na Motoko developers din. Kakagraduate lang din nung bootcamp. Tuturo sila doon on-ground in real life. Diba? Malaking bagay yun, diba? Ayun, tapos sa 70 naman, after 1 week, meron naman tayo sa La Union.
Ayun.
Tuloy-tuloy, di ba?
Kaya nga hindi ka na.
Punta ka lang dito, magkita tayo, tuloy-tuloy yung events, meetups, activities.
Oo, sigurado yan. At saka pag merong meetups dito at merong may share, sabihin ko din sa inyo. Mostly nasa open chat naman ako usually. Sa ICP Manila,
Oo nga, thank you. Thank you, active ka na doon.
Siyempre, gusto natin lumipat ng Web3. So, karamihan na ng mga usapan natin dito sa IC Manila, nasa Web3, nasa decentralized na rin, dun sa open chat. So, kung dito sa mga nasa audience, sunod lang kayo sa open chat.
Follow sa open chat.
Follow lang.
Para makapag-interact sila, di ba? Directly on-chain.
Oo. Tsaka kita mo naman mga, alam mo, iba-iba ang background nila, iba-iba din ang mga lahi, iba-iba din ang kanilang mga target audience. Minsan nga, iba pang language, pero kita mo, tulong-tulungan talaga. Dito, ang galing kasi, tapos iba-iba pa. Yung isa, pag hindi ka pa masyadong sanay sa blockchain, punta ka dito kay William. Tapos kung medyo marunong ka na sa ICP, doon ka naman kay Javier. Tapos pag talagang yung long term na, yun naman, ang galing nga eh.
The SOP, di ba? Malalim na. Kay The SOP, di ba? Yung pinakamalalim.
Kaya nga eh. Wala na.
Ba't di mo sa t-shirt?
Ay, syempre, medyo gabi na dito. Last time, Pero
Okay.
thank you
Yeah.
din. Thank you sa
Thank you very
pag-invite.
much, Gamris. Let's do this again. Magugustuhan ng community. I mean, different perspective din naman. Maraming salamat.
Oh, thank you. Sige rin. And
Ikaw
good
rin,
luck.
final words na rin. Final words sa community. Sa viewers.
Final
Or
words.
mga viewers ng mga replay.
Hindi ako mahilig mag-goodbye eh. Siguro, until next time. Ganon. Kasi, pag nag-goodbye ka, parang tapos na eh. Ako, naniniwala ako.
More to come.
Patuloy-tuloy. Kaya, tuloy-tuloy natin to. At dahan-dahan tayo matututo lahat. At sana nga.
One of many.
Sana talaga wag me, di ba?
Wag me. Exactly. Okay, sige. Thank you very much. Usap tayo ulit, Gamris. Looking forward na. Hopefully you can join again soon.
Sige. Thank you.
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.